Are you an expert who shares your knowledge, experience, and wisdom to help clients succeed? And chances are you present to groups large and small, in person and virtually, in all kinds of forms as an author, trainer, coach, consultant, and more. Well, at the National Speakers Association of Virginia, we're all about being smart and savvy about building a speaking-driven business, which is why we love to have conversations with smart, savvy people who are doing just that. So let's get to it and see what we can learn from today's guest. Hello and welcome to the Speaking Driven Business Livecast. My name is Mary Foley, a current member of the NSA Virginia Board and today's host. I'm excited to talk today with the smart and savvy Joan Bowling. Joan has nearly 30 years in broadcasting and communications, and she believes this, that when communication is successful, business is successful. Joan, welcome to the Speaking Driven Business Livecast.
Thank you, Mary. It's great to be here with you today.
It's good to be with you too. Now, I introduced you very simply because I want you to tell us more. So just tell us, what problems do you solve and for whom in your business?
Thank you for asking. I am a presentation coach and a communications trainer, and I primarily work with people who are rather introspective with their talents. So they could be technical geniuses, financial wizards, and they still need to present. And they need to put together, shape their words and the dialogue to connect with that board of directors, maybe with a staff, with a presentation outside the office. So I work to help people perfect their pitch. Competent, effective communications, mainly in finance, mainly in technology, broadcast because of my background. I love to have people hit it out of the park with their communications because it gets them further in their career. And that's what I work toward.
Right. Now, so are most of these people in business development and in sales, or are they internal with the company?
There's a mix. As of late, it has been internal with the company. It's been CEOs, CFOs, people who are working on new business development in the field of technology or computer science. And so they need to raise capital. They need to share ideas. They need to calm down concerns in their industry marketplace. And they need to do it in an eloquent, calm, confident manner. And so I help them do that.
Got
and
it.
also learn a whole lot about their business, which is fantastic. That is the bonus side for me in this job is that I get exposed to a lot of things that I wasn't even aware of that are out there in the marketplace. And I can't tell you, but they're just fantastic. They're fantastic.
That's great. Well, also you come with a fresh perspective. So when it comes to communication, you know, you bring that, I think, really as an asset. So I'm curious, what are your main products, services, or ways that you help to solve this communication problem with your clients, your ideal clients?
Right, great question. And let me go back just a little bit further. For presentation coach and a communications trainer, I worked, as you mentioned, nearly, and I underscored the nearly 30 years, because 21 could be nearly, 29 could be nearly. So thank you for that.
Works for me. Yeah.
Okay, great, I appreciate that. I was in broadcast sales, which is selling air. And again, it took 2 years to tell my dad, chief engineer, that I was actually selling an intangible product on the straight commission. After he caught his breath, he was like, "Good job, Joni, there you go." Nonetheless, I love broadcast sales, got me into the marketplace in so many different arenas. However, if I didn't sell anything, then I didn't make anything. And so perfecting that pitch was one way that I had a lot of experience in and fine-tuned that skill. And during that time, a regional client asked me to host a television show for them. That kicked off a 10-year relationship on cable TV. And there, the exciting piece that I learned is that I had 3 different clients. I had the client that hired me, the entity, the industry. I had the guest, which wasn't necessarily the person that booked me to do the show. And then I had the live audience.
Right.
So to balance that 3-legged stool so that all audiences were in communication cadence together, and happy was the name of the game there, and also to make the cash register ring. And then lastly, As far as advertising agency, that was my last stop to try to form a business and go out there and pitch clients with different messaging. That was really intriguing from a creative standpoint. So I take all the different initiatives that I've been so fortunate to have in my life, and I one-to-one presentation coach. What are the objectives? What are your goals? What's the timeline? What do we need to do in private, in confidence? However, and I love this, the LinkedIn CEO a couple weeks back said the number one problem in 2018 today is still communication. It's still talking to each other and those bumps. And as you say, and I say, you know, soft skills are hard.
Right.
And so we're still trying to work on all those soft skills. So that lends itself to a little bit more of a group initiative, and companies are wisely investing in those communication or team development initiatives. My trainings go anywhere from 90 minutes to a full day. And we work on team development things such as problem solving, internal customer service, leadership skills, the basic team building, how you influence in the marketplace. And because I'm a outsider or a consultant and a professional, I hear things that managers may not hear.
Oh, yeah.
About safe environment. It puts them on the road to opening up their horizons, having a new perspective. And I love that kind of dialogue as well. And it serves purposes to increase customer service and team relations. And as you know, the more a team internally is sound and healthy, that reflects back into the marketplace as well. And that's what we all want.
In some of the one-on-one work that you were talking about that you do, you said it was in private and, you know, in person. Now, does that also kind of count for some of the work that I know that you've done where you're coaching people how to give really good public presentations?
Right. And maybe you're speaking to the TEDx clients?
Exactly. You've coached a number of TEDxers, Xers, you know, that's like a club or something, I hear. But,
well,
you know,
club, it's a pretty prestigious club, and I've coached, not spoken. I don't quite have that idea in mind yet. I'm sure it's coming soon. But nothing is more exhilarating, probably more for them than for me, but to be assigned 3 minutes or 21 minutes to talk. And so, you know, as fast as they can talk, they're like, what do I say? What do I do? What do I put together? There's an audience of a couple thousand people. Just jazzes the heck out of me. And I love that. Let's calm down. Let's take a look at what you need to say, want to say. It's more of an informal conversation than a formal presentation. However, they still want to nail the initiatives. They still want to engage the audience. They want to make sure that their message is heartfelt and delivered well, no matter how challenging or complicated the topic is. And that, to me, is the fun of working with the TEDxers.
That's great. I love that. I love that. So let's talk a little bit about speaking and how it drives your business. So how do you use speaking of any kind? You've already mentioned a few, but, you know, be it presentations or keynotes or workshops or even online sessions and more, to attract, engage, and deliver for your clients to drive your business.
I love to do keynotes, and the keynotes will slot anywhere from, say, 45 minutes to 90 minutes. And it gives audiences a tapas platter of what Joan Bowling is all about. If you're going to work with somebody or a team, they want to know the flavor of their personality. They want to know what your values are. They want to know how you'll show up. And so public speaking, presentations publicly then helps an audience, a client, get to know me a little bit better and feel confident that they've made the right choice in bringing me a step further internally into the organization, either to do a one-to-one or to do some team training. So that way they get a flavor of what I'm all about. And audience interaction, as you know, is just so much fun. So I'm constantly trying to see how I can incorporate new interactive things into the presentation. And even though you have control of the mic and you may be elevated on that platform, you're still one-to-one. You're still one with that audience. And so those keynotes then allow me to have a ton of fun with an audience and make a make a personal introduction to Joan Bowling publicly, if that makes sense.
It does. And do you typically in those situations have a call to action, as they often say in the marketing world, but just this, those inviting people to explore more with you, or do you, or it might depend on the situation, but I'm wondering, therefore, there's got to be some people who may not be thinking, I want to hire you, but then they hear you speak and then they go, I may want to hire her or talk to her further. So I'm curious, do you have a call to action specifically when you do keynotes? And how well do people respond to you wanting to talk more afterwards?
Thank you. I do have a call to action, and it's on my website. And just in exchange for an email, you'll get a e-document, white pages, 7 tips to take your presentation from tired to terrific. And if we've done the same old things the same old way for the last 7 years or beyond, maybe even the last year, it's going to come across tired.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, you're going to be bored with it. Freshen it up, right? To sort of dust it off and add that scarf or the earrings. I'm going with the female focus, but nonetheless, new tie, guys, to your wardrobe, your presentation wardrobe. So most everybody pops in on that and they download that and they can enjoy those tips for how to modify something that they're going to do in the office, whether it's the regular weekly report if you're in a sales environment, or it's the quarterly board meeting, maybe to start out your open a little bit differently, or how to keep things on a timely track because we live in the meeting mode. And so how to be a little bit more respectful of time and attention. So they have that product that they can look forward to as well, which is a complimentary thing that I offer out that's on my website. And as far as engagement, on the other side of a presentation, if time allows, questions abound. How do I do this? How do I do that? What do you think of that? Particularly nowadays in social media, in dealing with tact and skill, which equals diplomacy, in dealing with difficult people. And again, because I am a safe person to talk to, they can run things my way, chew on it, and maybe try it out. And I love to hear success stories on the other side. It's a bold move to do something different and confidently. And I feel it takes practice in low-level situations that you're going to enjoy success so that you can boost it to the next level and the next level. Because to hear our voice is a beautiful thing. To be respectful of your voice and be confident and comfortable with the voice I'm sharing is just a lovely thing in the office, at home, in any arena.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the world could use a little more of that, huh? Just listening.
I think so, yes.
Well, and you mentioned earlier that you obviously do workshops, right, for clients, different topics. That obviously is bringing in money. It's for you. It's a big part of your business, driving your business. Do you do any of those in online, or any part of those online, or are they all in person at this point?
At this point in time, they're all in person. And I'm leaning into that world very gingerly. I'm working on completing actually 2 books this year, and one you're aware of, Mary, which is through the Storytellers channel, in a live performance that I did along with, I think, 8 or 9 other talents, some part of National Speakers Association Virginia, some not. And so we're putting together that publication that should be completed sometime this summer, which I'm excited about. And then another book coming hopefully in the fall that I've just finished writing is Profitable Presentations. And when you think profitable, a lot of people think cha-ching, money. But profit is how you define it. I can have a great conversation with a dear friend, and that was so profitable for me. We got to know each other a little bit better, had a ton of fun. It was just great. So your definition of profitable, but a definition of how we progress through profitable presentations. So those 2 things are coming out in 2018. And then hopefully on the other side of that, then we'll go electronic to catch up with you, talented people who are
well, here we are. Yes, that's right. Well, right now you're doing a virtual and online sessions, so that's great. We're just giving you practice, I know.
Good.
But particularly when either one of those books come out, I'm thinking in particular the profitable presentations, right? Typically, authors, when a book comes out, they're going to do some promotion, right? You probably didn't write it just because you had extra time and you were bored. You probably also did it as a strategic business initiative in the writing of the book. So getting it into people's hands is obviously very important, right? Not only for their own profit, but also hopefully you can profit by sharing your knowledge, right? So I'm curious, are you using any form of speaking in order to promote the book and or you?
At this point in time, I am not. I am involved in a speaking competition. And can I say Toastmasters?
You can. That's fine.
I love Toastmasters. I love National Speakers Association, Virginia. Toastmasters has a competition that is on my bucket list to win all the way up the ladder. And I'm 3 rungs up the ladder at this point that this
Congrats.
is being taped. And I want to make my 89-year young mama proud. And my husband and me, it's been a ton of fun to put together this talk. So round 4 comes up in a few weeks, and we'll see what happens there. So the books, the storytellers, as well as profitable presentations, I hope will be timely with whatever the universe brings for me this coming summer.
Right. And you love competition as well. So in a good way, it's right. It does kind of get us going and helps us to aspire for more and take risks. And that's a great thing when it comes to competition.
And growing up with all brothers, if you wanted to eat, you had to compete. Both into sports, and they had hollow legs. So I think I started with the food competition and then worked into other arenas.
Got it. Okay. Well, that's great. Well, so often when people become authors, they are asked to speak because it often is assumed, oh, this is a great topic, profitable presentations. Do you ever speak on that, right? Or can you come speak on that, right? Or can you do we'll do a book signing. So it's interesting. What I find is that authors are typically, you think of someone who writes well, correct? Mm-hmm. But then you get asked to speak well as in addition. So it can be the 1-2 punch. Love that. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. Now you are a professional member of the National Speakers Association of Virginia. You know, what's the biggest reason why?
I love the people. I absolutely love the people. I love the people. You know, when you find, overused word, your tribe, you're just like, yes, it's just great. So I love our meetings, not only for the people aspect of it, to see what they're doing, what they're involved with, to engage in conversation. As you know, speakers aren't afraid to speak, so there's that.
We're not the National Listeners Association.
No, we're not. That needs to be our next seminar. What'd you say? Oh, sorry, I was talking.
Go ahead. Yeah, you were talking.
Okay. So I love the people. I also love that we have programs, which are half-day programs. So there's nothing wrong with a lunch and learn or a breakfast session, but the 3-hour, 4-hour training sessions that we have from national and international talent help pay it forward in our industry so that we can get better on the platform, but we can also get better in our business as well. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of us, and I'm included, are a solopreneur and deal with staff that maybe is virtual, it's great to have a live connection to say, what did you do? How did you do it? Thank you for sharing your expertise. You've been in business much longer than I have. I never thought of that. And so it's wonderful to engage in those live conversations on a monthly basis with NSA Virginia.
Right. And no matter how long you've been at this, things are changing so fast. It's like you're new again, right?
Absolutely. Right.
I know.
So technology, there's that, and all the things you have to keep up on. And, you know, we all have our things. I'm not so loving technology, and I'm sure you won't share this, but I never saw a manual that I like to read. So what I do is when I get a new technology, I pick something up and I give it to my assistant, either my Sheltie Collie mix or my hubby, who I adore, and say, could you read this in between hockey periods or baseball, you know, 7th inning stretch, and let me know what I need to do. So technology is a big thing. It's ever changing. You want to at least stay aware of what's out there.
Right.
to see if something might be able to help you in your business, that you can let go of something old and replace it with something new. Learning curve takes time. We're juggling a lot of balls. That's everybody in life, but technology is a big thing.
Okay, that's a good point. Well, we are out of time for today, Joan, but for those of you, for those of the people listening who might want to get in touch with you, maybe connect with you on social media, maybe have an idea, possibly even talk to you and work with you, what is the best way they can get in touch?
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to offer out two options, and one is on my website, which is joanbowling.com. Bowling, just like the sport, B-O-W-L-I-N-G, and I'm sure we're gonna be able to see.
Yeah, we'll add that too. Okay.
Excellent. And then LinkedIn. I have great conversations via LinkedIn. I engage with people that I've never met before. I think a lot of us do that and get to know each other through that LinkedIn profile. So I really like LinkedIn as a business introduction as well. And I think a lot of people are comfortable with that. So LinkedIn or my website is great.
Great. And, you know, we'll add that too at the end of this live cast so that others can see it visually. But those are two easy options. Thank you so much, Joan. It's been great. We appreciate you sharing your ideas about your speaking driven business. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.